The atmosphere in MacArthur Court is electric as the Oregon Ducks enter seldom charted waters. Last night, Oregon beat Arizona State for the first time in the last 16 tries. But Arizona was able to kick away the conference schneid as well with a sweep in Corvallis. The question is, whose momentum will carry over tonight? Friday Night Volleyball in the Ozone features the Ducks and the Wildcats next on GoDucks.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Friday Night Volleyball on the Ozone. I'm Eric Olson here at MacArthur Court in beautiful Eugene, Oregon, bringing you tonight's match between the Oregon Ducks and the Arizona Wildcats. We've got an exciting match for you tonight. Two teams coming off of wins last night. The Oregon Ducks took on Arizona State here in MacArthur Court. The friendly confines were friendly. The Ducks won in 4 games, 30-22. They lost the second game, 30-25. Then they came back 30-28 and a come from behind 30-24 in Game 4 to pick up the victory and improve to 3-3 in the conference, a .500 record, and 13-3 overall. A huge win total for this program, the highest since 1991 when the Ducks won 14. For the Arizona Wildcats, they picked up their first conference win of the season after struggling mightily. They were up at Corvallis last night. They beat Oregon State in 3 games, 30-19, 30-16, 30-26. Really just an example of how tough the Pac-10 can be. Arizona started with the rivalry game versus Arizona State, and then they had the Bay Area schools, who were ranked 6th and 7th at the time, followed by the Southern California schools, who ranked 3 and 4 at the time. So Arizona is coming in struggling right now with an overall record of 10-8, a very tough non-conference schedule as well, 1-5 in the conference, like I said. Last night for the Ducks, they were led by freshman Sonia Newcomb, 16 kills, 20 points overall, a double-double for her with 15 digs. They also got double figures from Natisha Anesi, Aaron Little, Mira Juric as well. Katie Swoboda had 23 digs, and Kristen Bitter said she was the spark that led the team back in Game 4. The Ducks came from behind in Game 4, like I said. Another big thing for the Ducks is last night, Lindsey Stone, the freshman setter from Ashland, who came here as the reigning player of the year in 4A volleyball. That is now, she'd be on a 6A team because of the Oregon reclassifications. But she got her first start. I talked with her after the match of how she felt.
It was surreal. It felt awesome. It felt like every dream I've ever had coming true. And so it was just definitely a frozen moment for me. It felt like all the emotion that I've had ever since starting playing and all the goals achieved. It really felt real. Like throwing the T-shirt, it felt very real. So it was great.
Most of the time, the first answer is, I was real nervous. How nervous were you?
I actually wasn't nervous. I don't know, the girls behind me, I was completely confident with their abilities and completely confident in my team. We all have each other's backs, and so I just felt so supported going out there, so there's nothing to worry about.
And Lindsay played very well last night in Game 1, and she had to come out in Game 2. The team kind of fell in a rut. Jim Moore felt he had to make the change, put the senior Heather Madison in. The team did calm down, but Lindsay played very well. Speaking of head coach Jim Moore, why don't we get to our Coach's Corner? I caught up with Jim Moore just a little while ago. We'll have the Coach's Corner for tonight, Friday Night Volleyball on the Ozone, and then the Oregon Ducks and the Arizona Wildcats first tip coming up after that. Well, Coach, I know last night was a big win for you. Talk about just being able to carry momentum over from beating Arizona State to tonight.
Well, let's hope we can do that. Let's hope we can take that momentum, if it's such a thing, if you can carry that from one day to another, and continue to do that. I guess from the last 2 matches, we try to do that. But the most important thing is just to be focused on the play at hand. I mean, we keep talking about that, and I know it sounds kind of crazy, but that's what we got to do. We can't be worried about winning, losing, just worried about the play that's right in front of us.
You've said that with each win, the next one's going to get easier, especially with this weekend. I mean, knowing how much you told me is at stake this weekend, is this match going to be any easier than last night's?
Well, it's easy to say that. It's nice if that's true. You know, the biggest point that I have with that is that you have to learn how to win. And as you learn how to win, that's something you don't have to learn over again. And so that's in terms of whether each win is an easier win, on a specific match, I don't know that that's necessarily true. But just in terms of having to learn things to go through, that every time you do win, that's a process that you don't have to go through again. And so I don't know, by no means is this going to be an easy win. But I think we learned some things last night. Every single time we've gone out so far this year, I think we've done some very special things that should carry us over as the season goes along. Everything from losing to UCLA to losing to SC to being 2-3 before last night, and then winning the way we won last night, coming back when we were down. Those are all kinds of things that hopefully carries forward.
You have a team on the other side of the net tonight that's had a rough go of it at the early part of the season. But what do you expect from this Arizona squad picking up a win last night?
Well, they are very, very physically gifted. They're much more physically gifted than we are. They're big, they're athletic, and their backs are against the wall, so they're going to fight with everything they have to make sure they come out. Dave Rubio, their coach, said before this weekend that if they don't take both of them this weekend, their chances of being in the NCAA tournament is probably 0. So they feel like they have to get in. They've got to get these 2 wins, and that's a team that was the 4th-seeded team in the tournament last year, so they're used to winning.
You've almost got a good problem in the fact that you've got 3 quality setters who all can play out on the floor, and you got Lindsey Stone out there for the first start last night. Talk about Lindsey's performance.
Well, Lindsey played well. It was very difficult to take her out. We got kind of in a rut, and we got a little anxious, and Maddie came in and did a great job. And we said that right from the beginning. We're real happy with all 3 setters. I just got to make sure that I put Lindsey in situations that allow her to feel good about herself and to feel like she performed the way that she wanted to perform. And I'm going to have to be a little more careful with that probably as time goes on now after taking her out last night, because that was probably, I know it was hard on her. She hasn't said that, but I know that was hard on her. And I have to do a good job of making sure that I put her in situations where she can be successful.
Last night, the block was much better than Arizona State's. I think you were very happy with the block. I did pick up from Kristen Bitter last night. She thought that Katie Swoboda really sparked the team defensively, maybe in the second half of the match. What did you think of Katie's performance?
Well, that's interesting. Kristen didn't say that. So, I thought that was another match that, we kind of picked up on Katie. Katie was unbelievable. Katie literally almost single-handedly carried us at Washington State and made everybody so much better. And last night, she played well, but that wasn't one of Katie's better performances, I don't think. She's going to, everybody has good nights and not as good nights. And, it was an okay night for her, but I think she can, my expectations for Katie are so high that it's pretty tough. But it's good that, somebody thinks that sparks them, because, Katie's always going to make the sensational dig. We got to make sure she makes the theoretically the one she's supposed to make or that she has to make.
Well, if you get this question from me every night before a Friday night match on the Ozone, what's it going to take tonight? What's the key?
Well, we need to apply pressure to them, and we need to execute. We have to make fewer errors than them. If we make the same number of errors that they do, we're going to be in big trouble. So we need to play our game, which I know I keep saying, but we just need to play our game and put pressure on them, keep the ball in the court, and I think we'll be pretty happy. Thanks, Jeff.
Well, welcome back to Friday Night Volleyball on the Ozone. I guess that will be the question we will answer here, starting in a matter of seconds, whether or not the Oregon volleyball team can handle their business against the Arizona Wildcats, a feisty team, a very physically gifted team looking for their win. Let's get you the starters here tonight. First, for the Arizona Wildcats, it's going to be Brittany Leonard playing libero. She'll be joined by Stephanie Butkus, Dominique Lamb, J.C. Norton, Randy Goodenough, Whitney Dostey, and Brooke Burrengrud. The Ducks, on the other hand, will have Natisha Anesi, Karen Waddington, Sonia Newcomb, Nevena Georgievich, Katie Swoboda, Erin Little, and Mira Juric. Georgievich to serve right away. Arizona back set, and an attack by J.C. Norton goes down for the kill. Arizona is on the board first, 1-0. Arizona will come with a substitution. In for Whitney Dostie is Katie Jackals. Jackals to serve. Oregon playing away from you, watching on the O-Zone. North to south in MacArthur Court. Arizona playing towards you. Wildcats, Jackals to serve. Handled by Newcomb. And a foot fault called against Katie Jackals. Her right foot slid across the service line. Called an early, easy side out for Oregon. Sonia Newcomb back to serve for the Ducks. Stands in the middle, serves it into the middle. Handled easily by Arizona. Set over to the left side to Burrengrud. Handled by Little. Little with the attack now from the left side. Little's attack is off the block, and then a diving Brooke Burrengrud could not pick it up. Oregon gets a point. Erin Little with a kill. 2-1 lead here for Oregon early on in game one. Newcomb to serve again. Newcomb into the middle, handled this time by Jackals. Back set by Butkus, and an attack from Norton is handled. Now an attack from the left pin by Little. Dug in the back row by Jackals. Left attack for Burrengrud, and that one is tipped by Oregon at the net. The block got a touch on it, and Burrengrud picks up a kill. Evens the score at 2 for Arizona. Brittany Leonard, the libero from San Jose, California, to serve. Diving and an overpass. Dug, though, by Juric. Little to attack from the left pin off of the block of Randy Goodenough, and Little picks up another kill here early on in game one. Katie Swoboda, sophomore from Portland, Oregon. She'll be the feature interview tonight in between games 2 and 3. She serves it into the back row, handled by Goodenough. Now an attack from the left pin off of the set by Butkus. Dug by Oregon. Natisha Anesi attacks for Oregon. Now a quick set and an attack is dug by Juric. Anesi attacks, and now a set up to from Lamb to Goodenough. Dug by Georgievich. Juric sets up to Anesi from the left pin off the block, and that one's going to fall in front of Erin Little to the floor to tie the game at 3. Randy Goodenough, a sophomore from Salinas, California, back to serve. Stands at the baseline, lefty, jump serve, dug by Swoboda. Georgievich back set to Juric, handled, and it's an overpass from Arizona. Juric again, and this one finds the floor in between Brittany Leonard and Katie Jackals in the back row. Mira Juric picks up a kill. 4-3 Oregon lead. Juric now back to serve. The sophomore, at one time one of the best servers in Europe. High toss, hard hammered. Right on the back line for an ace for Mira Juric. Mira Juric in the European Championships a few years ago was named the best server in Europe. She is right now ranked in the top 11 in the NCAA. That one just long of the back line for a service error. Juric is going to come out for Heather Madison. Arizona's going to go with a substitution. Dostie's going to come back in for Katie Jackals. Dostie will play at the net. Brooke Burrengrud back to serve. Oregon with a 5-4 lead over Arizona. Sonia Newcomb out of position, lets that one go. Looked like Sonia crept in a little bit there. Thought the serve from Burrengrud was going to go long. Actually caught right inside the corner. 5-all. Burrengrud to serve again. The righty to Little. Little picks it up. Now a back set to Bitter, and Bitter hits it right down the front side of the block for a kill. Kristen Bitter picks up her first block of the night. Last night, 9 kills against Arizona State. Little to serve now. Picked up by Burrengrud. Set by Butkus. Over to the left side, and a huge hit from Dostie finds the floor. Whitney Dostie is a freshman from Tucson, Arizona. Stands at 6'3" tall. She just tied Arizona back up, 6-all. Dominique Lamb to serve. Newcomb mishandles the serve. Diving set by Madison. Now a joust at the net, and Sonia Newcomb hammers it down. So Newcomb mishandles the serve, trying to handle it with a set receive, but she comes back and gets a kill to end the point. Natisha Nessie back to serve for Oregon, 7-6 the score. And Nessie high serve handled in the back row by Berngrude. Back set by Buckus, just tapped over by Norton. Madison back set to Bitter. Bitter hits it right into the block and down in front of Heather Madison. Point for Arizona off of a good block there. Whitney Dostie, the freshman, was in on that one. Now the senior Stephanie Butkus to serve. Last night went over 3,500 career assists. Newcomb to attack, dug by Butkus, but everybody on Arizona stared and watched that one to the floor. Point for Oregon on the kill there for Newcomb. Nevena Djordjevic back to serve from the right side into the middle to Goodenough. Butkus sets over to left side to Dostie, and Dostie hammers it into the block of Waddington and Juric. 2 in a row for Oregon, 9-7 the lead. The freshman Djordjevic, righty, little small jump serve again. Butkus, two-hand set, now tipped over by Dostie. Juric to set into the middle to Little. Little can't do anything but tip it over. Thought she was going to have a jump at that one, mistimed her step, and so she was going to set it over and mishandled the set, so the point goes to Arizona. Dostie will come out. Katie Jackals will come back in to serve, the junior from Playa del Rey, California. Transferred to Arizona from Golden West Community College. The righty standing serve dug by Newcomb. Juric to attack from the left pin, right off of the block, and Arizona, right like that, it back in. It ties the game up at 9 apiece. We're early on in the first game of this Pac-10 match in between the Arizona Wildcats and the Oregon Ducks. 9-9 our score. Katie Jackals to serve for the Wildcats, handled by Swoboda. Now an attack from the left pin by Newcomb, off of the block. Juric hits it up. Now Djordjevic back set to Waddington, and Waddington's attack is wide. Oregon here, most of the points they've given to Arizona so far tonight, and Jim Moore said in the pregame show, Oregon has to handle their business. They have to make sure they don't make as many errors as Arizona. Newcomb to attack, a block again. That time J.C. Norton and Randy Goodenough in on the block. 4 points in a row for Arizona. They're out to an 11-9 lead. Katie Jackals stands at 5'5", right in the middle, back into the back row with her serve, dug by Little. Now Newcomb attacks, it's off of the block, dug in the back by Jackals. Goodenough gets the attack, and now Juric with off of a dig from Swoboda. Mira Juric hammers it down. Nice job by Juric to go after it after only one pass to her. Sonia Newcomb, the freshman, back to serve. She's the floor captain for this Oregon team. Finds Jackals in the back row. Butkus sets it into the middle to Goodenough, who attacks with the left hand. Swoboda's going to knock it over after Oregon handles the attack from Goodenough. Goodenough attack again, and the lefty hits this one well long of the back row and out of bounds. Oregon back in it. 11 all. Newcomb to serve again. Newcomb off of Goodenough. Goodenough mishandles it. Leonard tried to keep it alive, but she could not. That's an ace there for Sonia Newcomb. Newcomb is a freshman from Oregon, from Lake Arrowhead, California. Rim of the World High School, the same high school Jim Moore went to. Now Butkus sets to the left pin for Brooke Berengrude, and she hits it off of the pin, which is wide on the attack. Oregon picks up 3 points in a row to jump back out to a 13-11 lead, and that makes Arizona take a timeout. David Rubio wants to talk about it with his team trailing by 2. As Jim Moore said in the pregame, Arizona came into this weekend with no wins in the conference season. He told his team, he told the media, they had to come out of this weekend with 2 wins, or going to the tournament might be out of the question for a team that was a 4th seed last year. David Rubio in his 15th season at the helm of the University of Arizona. In the last 7 seasons, he's taken his team to 5 Sweet 16s, and 4 of those times his team won in the Sweet 16 and advanced to the Elite 8. career record at University of Arizona, 288 wins to 149 losses. That's a very, very impressive win percentage in the Pac-10, a conference that is always at the top of its game. Out of the timeout here, you got to wonder what Jim Moore said to his team. Try to get them going a little bit, despite the fact they have been leading. Newcomb to serve, 13-11, the Oregon advantage. Into the back row, handled by Goodenough. Now an attack from the right pin by J.C. Norton. Arizona calling for the tip. None of the referees saw one, so Norton's attack is long. Oregon's 4 in a row here. And Newcomb to serve again, 14-11. Newcomb pops that one up, handled by Leonard. Buckus sets over to the left side to Berngrud. Berngrud off of the block, and that one's going to fall in front of Katie Swoboda. Berngrud, her 3rd point of the game. 2nd kill. She's also got an ace. Leonard back to serve. The righty lines up on the left side. Standing serve, pops it up, handled by Waddington. Now a quick set by Djordjevic. That one's low. Mira Đurić calling for a tip. Actually, Arizona into the net on that play, so a point for the Ducks. That set there by Djordjevic was very low. Đurić got lucky there. Swoboda to serve, a quick set into the middle for an attacking Dominique Lamb, and Lamb hammers it home in front of Aaron Little for an Arizona point. 15-13. Randy Goodenough back to serve. Lefty jump serve off of the top of the net, handled by Newcomb. Back set by Djordjevic to Đurić. Đurić is dug by Jackals. Now attack from the left side by Berngrud, dug by Swoboda. Attack by Anesi. Anesi hammers it off of Jackals, and that one's going to go up into the stands for a kill. Natisha Anesi gets on the board for the first time. Djordjevic comes out as Đurić goes back to serve. Kristen Bitter into the game. No official setter on the floor for Oregon right now. Đurić jump serve into the back row, just long again. She's got an ace, and she's got 2 service errors in this game right now. Both of them have been very, very close to the back line. Đurić will come out. Heather Madison will sub in to play in the back row and set for Oregon. Brooke Berngrud, the sophomore from Escondido, California, to serve. Handled by Swoboda. Madison sets over to Anesi. Madison's going to set Anesi again. The last one was off the block. Anesi hammers it into the back. A diving Berngrud could not keep that one alive. Anesi picks up her 2nd kill. 17-14, midway through game 1 here at MacArthur Court. Aaron Little to serve. Into the middle to Goodenough. A back set, and that one's over on a... And Natisha Anesi goes up on the joust and gets herself 2 kills in a row. Oregon's lead out to 4. This is the largest lead so far. Little serves. Now an attack by Dominique Lamb from the middle. And that one's been working well for Arizona. The quick set by Buckus for Lamb, attacking right down the center. Katie Swoboda could not handle that one. Lamb picks up her 2nd kill. Lamb now back to serve. Hammers in the back, handled by Newcomb. Newcomb's going to get the attack tip over, and that one's going to go in front of a diving Arizona player. Whitney Dostie could not come up with the dig on that one. Smart play there by Sonia Newcomb. 3rd kill of the game. 19-15, Natisha Anesi back to serve. Nessie hammers it right into the middle in the back row, handled by Berngrud. Now an attack from the left side by Dostie, and Dostie hammers it off the block and picks herself up her 2nd kill of the game. The senior setter, Stephanie Buckus, back to serve. The lefty pops it up right at the 10-foot line, handled by Aaron Little. An attack from the left side by Newcomb, and that one's going to be off the block. And Newcomb picks up her 4th kill of this game. The Serbian substitution, as I like to call it, Nevena Đorđević and Mira Đurić come into the game in this 6-2 formation for Oregon. Madison and Bitter come out. Đorđević, right-handed jump serve into the back row, handled by Berngrud. Now an attack from the back by Dostie on the left pin. No tip there, as both the referees look to the back line judge for that one. The attack is long. Oregon picks up another point, 21-16. Đorđević to serve again. This one into the front row, falls right in front of a diving Berngrud at the 10-foot line, and Đorđević picks up an ace. And that one's going to get David Rubio back on his feet. He's going to use his 2nd timeout here in game 1. 22-16 the score, And Oregon's got 3 aces right now in this game, 1. Like I said earlier, Mira Juric is 11th in the nation with 6.66 aces per game. Overall this season, she has herself 37 aces. As a team, Oregon's got 111. If you contrast that, Arizona, another very strong serving team, 102 right now. They've spread it out a little bit more with their leading serve aces, Brooke Burrengrud. She's got 26. So she trails Juric by 12 right now. Juric picking up her 38th tonight. Erin Little is second on the Oregon team with 21 aces. For Arizona, second on their team in service aces is Dominique Lamb, who's got 19. So 2 teams here in a conference really that can really serve well. Last night the Ducks picked up 5 aces, 2 for Djordjevic, who picked up 1 just a minute ago, 2 for Anesi, and Erin Little picked up 1. Djordjevic back to serve again. Out of the timeout, 22-16, the Oregon advantage is up to 6. Djordjevic into the middle, Burrengrud mishandles it, Buckus sets it up from her falling down, and the attack is from the left side by Goodenough, and that one's going to go into the back row for a kill. Arizona substitution, Katie Jackals comes in for, Whitney Dostie. For Goodenough, that was her first kill of the game. 22-17. Served by Jackals. Back set by Djordjevic to Juric. That one's going to go right in front of a diving Katie Jackals for a kill. Mira Juric picks up her 3rd kill here in game 1. 23-17. The Ducks 7 away. Freshman Newcomb to serve now. Into the back row. Handled by Jackals. Quick set by Buckus. Up to J.C. Norton. And that one could not be handled by Nevena Djordjevic. Point for Arizona on the attack by J.C. Norton, her 2nd kill here in game 1. 23-18, the libero Brittany Leonard to serve. Now attack from the left pin by Erin Little. Erin Little off of the block, but the block hits her on the hand. That one was going to go out. The block was going to go out, but it caught Erin Little on the hand, her follow-through with her right hand. And so a point for Arizona. 23-19, the lead's down to 4. Bump set by Djordjevic. Waddington keeps it up alive, and Little knocks it down. Erin Little there. David Rubio is up, wants to know what happened there. What happened was Djordjevic put up a bump set that was tipped over and blocked right back, and then Little knocked it up. Now a quick set there to Dominique Lamb, and Lamb hammers it home again with that attack from the middle for Arizona. 24-20. Sophomore Randy Goodenough back to serve. Left-handed jump serve from just off the right side. That one's going to fall wide. Point for Oregon there. That's a side out the easy way. Bitter comes in for Djordjevic. No setter on the floor for Oregon right now. Bitter, Anesi, and Little up at the net. Newcomb and Swoboda and Juric in the back row. Juric with the serve. A dig there on J.C. Norton's attack. And now a joust at the net. Anesi wins it, kept alive, and now it's going to be a free ball for Oregon. Knocked over by Burrengrud. Swoboda pops it up to Bitter. Bitter sets it into the middle to Little. Little right-handed tip off the block. Not off of the block, and that one goes wide. Oregon substitutes in Heather Madison for Juric. The Wildcats substitute Whitney Dostie back into play at the front row for Katie Jackals. Brooke Burrengrud wearing number 99 to serve. The righty pops it up, handled by Newcomb. Set over to the left pin for Anesi. Anesi hits it off of the block. No, it's not off of the block. It's right on the tape. No hands there for Arizona. And it's another point for the Ducks. 25-22. Oregon's lead's down to 3. It was 6 at one point. Burrengrud to serve again. Handled by Swoboda, but mishandled. Little sets it up. Newcomb from the back row. Burrengrud. Buckus now sets over to the left side, attacked by Dostie. Dug by Swoboda and attacked by Little off of the block, kept alive by Madison, and now it's going to be a free ball for Arizona. Buckus sets all the way over to the left pin, and Dostie's attack is long. Point for Oregon there. A big one to pick up that after that big rally there. Aaron Little to serve. The senior stands in the middle of the court in the back line. Now an attack by Dosti. That one's tipped over. Dug by Little, but Little's dig just goes too tall for Kristen Bitter. Something that's quite hard to do. Bitter is the tallest player on the Oregon team at 6'4". Arizona's going to come with a substitution now. Elena Rush comes into the game for Dominique Lamb. Rush to serve for Lamb, making her first appearance. Rush's serve is handled by Little in the back row. Bitter with the attack, dug by Rush. Now attack from left side. Dosti tips it over, handled by Madison. Newcomb tips it over into the back, handled by Goodenough. Dosti is going to attack from the left pin. Dug by Swoboda, but a free ball for Arizona. Dosti again. This one's going to be wide, though. Whitney Dosti, the freshman from Tucson, Arizona, has quite a powerful attack. However, it has been errant at times tonight. 27-23, Nessie serves, handled by Leonard. Bucket sets it up, Dosti to attack again, she tips it over. Dug by Nessie, kept alive by Madison, just sends it up, joust at the net, won by Arizona, but Oregon's going to attack. Newcomb knocks it over. Bucket sets to Dosti. Dosti a left pin, into the block by Bitter. Bucket sets over now, and it's going to be tipped over by Goodenough. Waddington tries to keep it alive. Now Madison's over. Arizona has a free pass. They don't get it. Madison tries to get one. Now it's an overpass, and Newcomb hammers it home. Sonia Newcomb with her fifth kill of the game extends the Oregon lead to 28-23. There were a lot of overpasses there in that point. Neither team really possessed an attack at points during that attack. And finally, Sonia Newcomb got an easy one. Buckus sets over to Dosti. Dosti's going wide, this time off of the net, and hammers right on the line. That one was 5 feet across the net, which is quite impressive because Dosti's attacking from the left pin, wide of the sideline. Got it off the top of the net, and it trickled across. So Dosti picks up her third kill. Little handles the serve. Now Waddington to attack from the middle, and she hammers it down. Karen Waddington, a great time to find her first kill of the game. Juric and Djordjevic come in for Bitter and Madison. 29-24, the Oregon fans up on their feet as Oregon's looking at game point in game one. Djordjevic serve is handled by Burengrud, and attack by Goodenough is dug by Little off of the block. Juric to attack now off of the block, and a kill for Mira Juric, and Oregon picks up game one 30-24. Big game one there. You always want to pick up game one, especially in the Pac-10. And really, Oregon is playing with quite a lot of momentum right now. They look very good out there on the floor. We're going to have the stats here in 1 second to check my stats. I have Sonia Newcomb with 5 kills and an ace. Mira Juric with 4 kills and an ace. Natisha Nessie and Aaron Little both with 3 kills. On the Arizona side, I have Dosti and Lamb with 3 kills, and Brooke Burengrud with an ace and 2 kills. But really, if you're going to look at these stats, what you're going to see is Arizona probably just made too many mistakes there. As far as attack goes, they actually made 1 less attack error than Oregon did, but Whitney Dosti, 4 kills and 4 errors, so a hitting percentage of 0-0, and she's the one who got set the most. She had 13 attacks there in game one. Oregon spread out the ball a lot better, and Nessie had 10 attacks. She got 3 kills down. Sonia Newcomb, 5 kills on 10 attacks, hitting 400 with only 1 error. Juric also had 5 kills on 8 attacks. Oregon did have 8 attack errors, spread those out as well. Service errors, 2 apiece. Aces, just 1 for Brooke Burengrud. Oregon had 3 of them, 1 for Newcomb, 1 for Djordjevic, and 1 for Juric. It really came down to the blocks in game one as an advantage for Arizona. 5 team blocks to 1 team block. So you got to ask yourself, what was the difference in that game? And what it was Oregon just got more attacks. They had 42 attacks to 37. They put away 18 kills to Arizona's 12. So they just had more attack chances, and they took advantage of them, hitting 238 in game one. But the Arizona coaching staff talking to their team, a team that's really struggled here in the early on of the Pac-10 season. Like we said, their first Pac-10 win was last night up at Oregon State. if you look at this team, they're really off to a tough start. The first game of the season, Kristen Baum, the senior middle blocker and opposite hitter from Whittier, California, injured her knee versus Bradley. She's been out all year long, so that's senior leadership. And then if you look at the team that went into the tournament last year, ranked number 4 with the 4 seed, they lost 3-time All-American Kim Glass, also Pac-10 All-Americans Jennifer Abernathy and Bree Ladd. They lost over 70% of their attack from last year, so they're trying to bounce back from that. Oregon, on the other hand, they did lose some very important players from last season, but they've got this core nucleus of very young players. If you look at their starting lineup, they've got a freshman as their floor captain, Sonia Newcomb, a freshman as an outside hitter and middle blocker, Natisha Nessie, a freshman as their one of their 2 setters in Nevena Georgievich, and then 2 sophomores out there on the floor with senior Erin Little and junior Karen Waddington. Ready to go here in game 2. Oregon picks up game 1, 30-24. Arizona's going to serve first here in game 2. It's going to be Randy Goodenough to serve for the Wildcats. The lefty has a pretty solid jump serve. Shows it off here, dug by Little into the back row. Georgievich sets over to the left pin, and Newcomb gets a hard kill there. Sonia Newcomb with a nice towering drive. Great set there from Georgievich. Now Newcomb's going to go back to serve for Oregon. Newcomb, line drive serve, picked up by Jackals in the back row. Now Berengrude to attack from the left side. Dug by Newcomb. Little to attack after falling on the floor is Nevada Georgievich. Little's attack falls softly in front of Brooke Berengrude for a kill and a 2-point lead for Oregon early on in game 1. Newcomb back to serve. Pops it over right at the 10-foot line. Diving dig by Goodenough. Berengrude with the attack, and that one just hits the back line. Swoboda and Newcomb let that one go, and that one just had a little bit of topspin on that one. That one dove right at the end. Kill there for Brooke Berengrude. Berengrude back to serve now. She only had 2 kills in game 1. The leading kill leader for Arizona. Now Arizona attack Goodenough. A tip blocked by Little and Waddington. Attack now from the left pin for Dosti. Dosti hits it off the block as well. Dosti calls for it again. Buckets gives it to her. And Dosti's attack is very, very long. She didn't get high on that one and actually hammered it just going upward still. Did not get any downward push on that kill. 3-1 the Oregon advantage. Lamb to attack in the middle. Lamb's attack is long as well. And Oregon is capitalizing early on Arizona errors. 4-1. And David Rubio wants to talk about it right away. 4-1 the score. And David Rubio actually doesn't even go to the huddle. He stops his senior setter, Stephanie Butkus from Bridgeview, Illinois, and he's talking to her right now individually. And right now what's happening is Stephanie's getting the ball to Berengrude. He's getting the ball to Dosti. is getting the ball to Dosti. However, Dosti's not getting very good attacks there, and she hasn't had the best balls to swing at either. So Rubio's talking to his senior. And if you think about it, though, last night Stephanie Butkus 46 set assists in the game against Oregon State. She got herself a kill as well in 8 digs. The 46 set put her up to 3,506 career assists, puts her in 3rd all-time. Actually trails her coaches, who are 1st and 2nd on the Arizona all-time record books. But as this timeout winds down, Rubio spent very little time talking to his team, but now as Brooke Berengrude, the sophomore, walks back out onto the floor, I think he tells her, look, it's got to be you, Brooke, because Brooke comes into tonight's match with 246 kills, the leading kill getter for Arizona. And this Wildcats team is struggling right now. 4-1. Swoboda to serve for Oregon. Standing right-handed serve in just behind the back row. Picked up by Berengrude. Goodenough to attack. The attack is off the block, and the block goes straight sideways to the left of Natisha Nessie. So Arizona picks up a point out of the timeout. Dominique Lamb, the junior from Chandler, Arizona, to serve. Lamb's dug by Newcomb. Nanesi, bad set there, and free ball for Arizona. Back set to Goodenough from Butkus, and good set there and a good kill by Randy Goodenough. I'm sure there's a pun there somewhere. I'm trying to avoid it right now. Dominique Lamb back to serve again, 4-3 the score. Newcomb sets it up to Djordjevic. Fake attack there by Juric, and Little with the attack is dug by Lamb. Lamb's dig goes all the way over the net and out of bounds. Djordjevic comes out for Bitter. Mira Juric, the sophomore, into serve. 5-3 the score. 2-point lead for Oregon. Juric, the righty, hammers into the back row, dug by Goodenough. Now attack from the back row by Berengrud is dug into the back row by Swoboda. And Nessie to attack from the left pin. Back set by Butkus to Dosti. Dosti off the block, dug in the back row by Swoboda. Bitter sets it up, and Nessie to attack off of the block, kept alive by Little. Bitter sets it again into the back row, this time Newcomb. Newcomb adjusts herself in the air. Good job there. Goodenough to attack. Dig by Little. Overpass, though. Dosti with the attack, and Newcomb could not handle that one. Point for Arizona on a good point there on both sides. A beautiful dig by Mira Juric as she comes out, and Heather Madison comes in, but her dig was an overpass, and Dosti was able to hammer it home. Butkus with the serve. Little with the attack in the middle off of the set from Madison, and Little picks up her second kill here in game 2. 6-4, the 2-point lead for Oregon. As Aaron Little, the senior, goes back to serve. Little just tries to touch it over the net, hits the tape, and falls back to the Oregon side for an service error. Katie Jackals comes back in for Whitney Dosti. Jackals to serve. 5'5" junior. Has a standing serve from the left of center. Hammers in the back row, dug by Newcomb. Back set to Anesi. Anesi right off of the block of J.C. Norton and Brooke Berengrud there for an Arizona Wildcats point. Game's all tied at 6. David Rubio stands up, gives Katie Jackals a signal, tells her who to serve on this play. Swoboda moves over a little bit to her left. She handles the serve. Anesi to attack. Anesi off of the block, and a kill for Natisha Anesi, and a point for Oregon. Waddington comes back in for the libero, Swoboda, on the free substitution. Anesi back to serve, 7-6, the Oregon 1-point advantage. Goodenough into the back row. Butkus sets all the way over to the left side to Berengrud, off of the block, and Nessie and Little, miscommunication there as the ball was coming in between the two of them, and that one's going to go down as a kill for Brooke Berengrud. The libero, Leonard, to serve now for Arizona, pops it over to the 10-foot line. Newcomb handles it. Newcomb's going to get it back from Madison and hammer it off with the solo block of Randy Goodenough for a kill. Sonia Newcomb picks up her second kill here in game 2. Juric and Djordjevic come in for Madison and Bitter. Heather Madison stops at head coach Jim Moore and assistant coach Stacy Metro to talk now. An attack by Goodenough, and Katie Swoboda not able to dig that one. Looked like Katie was in position to get that one, but it was a very hard attack from Randy Goodenough. 8-8 now, tie ball game. As Goodenough, the lefty, goes back to jump serve. Into the back row, handled by Little. Set by Djordjevic to Newcomb, dug by Berengrud, and that one's just going to fall in front of Nevena Djordjevic, who thought it was out of bounds, just did not know where she was on the floor. We're going to have an Arizona substitution as Arizona's taking the lead. Junior Amy Dyke is into the game to serve for Randy Goodenough. Dyke from Sandpoint, Idaho. Dug by, the attack is over, a tip attack from Juric. Now Berengrud's going to attack, and she tries to tip it across the center of the net, and she misattacks there, and so it's going to be an Oregon point. Juric tried to find this hole in between the blockers and the defense who was back, but Arizona was able to handle it. As I'm talking, Sonia Newcomb with a service error there to give the lead back to Arizona. Dosti comes back into the game for Jackals as Berengrud is back to serve. She stands in the middle. The sophomore jump set, pops it over, dug by Swoboda. Bump set over to Little. Little attack is dug into the back row by Leonard. Bucket sets it up to Dosti. Dosti has a free swing at it, and she just mishits that one long. Dosti's having a tough time of it right now. Rubio gets up to talk to his freshman attacker. Swoboda to serve now. Bucket sets it back to Berngrud. Berngrud attacks from behind the 10-foot line. Newcomb could not handle the attack down the right line, and that one's going to be a point, and Arizona takes the lead again on the third kill in game 2 for Brooke Berngrud. Lamb serves it over. Djordjevic sets over to the left pin to Inesi. Inesi's attack is dug into the back row. Dosti to attack. This time she softens it up a little bit. Misses the block and right in front of Katie Swoboda, who's not sure what happened there. 2-point lead now for the Wildcats. 12-10. Lamb to serve again. Handled by Newcomb. Dump set by Djordjevic, and she finds the floor. Nevena Djordjevic, and I think she does that just about once a game, and she finds the floor almost every time. In fact, last night she got dug on one of those, and I think that's the first time I've seen her get dug on a dump like that all season long. Madison to serve after subbing in for Juric. Now a miscommunication there. It's going to be a free ball, dive by Swoboda, and then passed over by Newcomb. Madison handles the attack from the back row by Berngrud. Now Newcomb to attack, just finds the back row for a kill. Sonia Newcomb attacking from the back row ties this up at 12 with a nice one that finds the corner. Madison to serve, all even at 12. Pops it over right at the 10-foot line, dug by Dyke. Back row attack from Berngrud, and that one goes wide, trying to go for the her back left corner, the back right corner of the Oregon court, side of the court, and Oregon back in the lead here, 13-12. Madison's going right side now, dive by Dyke, joust at the net. Aaron Little wins it against Stephanie Butkus. Aaron Little picks up the kill on the joust, and Oregon's on a 4-point run, 14-12 now the score. The setter Madison to serve again. She and Kristen Bitter came in for Juric and Djordjevic just a minute ago. Now an attack from Dosti, and Dosti hits it into the floor right in front of Sonia Newcomb. Whitney Dosti starting to find her swing now. Stephanie Butkus back to serve as Amy Dyke comes out of the game, and J.C. Norton checks back in. Madison back set to Little. Little hits it down the line, dug by Leonard. Butkus back set, now Goodenough tips it over with her left hand. Madison sets it over to Inesi. Inesi to attack, and right into the front of the libero Brittany Leonard there for a kill. Natisha Inesi, big swing there for Oregon. 15-13, Aaron Little to serve. Midway point pretty much in game 2. Oregon picked up game 1. The attack from the left side by Dosti, dug by Little but mishandled. Katie Swoboda tries to give chase to it, gets her left hand on it, but is not able to keep it in play. It's going to be a kill for Whitney Dosti there, her third of the game. Now she'll come out, and Katie Jackals will check back in to serve. Jackals line drive handled by Swoboda. Jump set by Madison over to Newcomb, and Newcomb hammers it to the floor right in front of Katie Jackals. Sonia Newcomb, 4 kills here, 9 kills already in the match. Natisha Inesi back to serve. Oregon with a 2-point lead, 16-14. Butkus is able to keep it alive. Goodenough tips it over. Now she kicks it up with her right hand. Jackals keeps it alive. Berngrud to attack from the left side. Madison sets it up to Newcomb. Newcomb off the block. Diving save by Goodenough. Popped up in the air by Norton, and now attack from Goodenough, and Goodenough's going to hit it long. Oregon picks up a 3-point lead. Inesi, the freshman from the Dalles, Oregon, back to serve, but before she gets to serve, Arizona takes their second timeout of game 2 as they trail 17-14 here in game 2. 30-24, Oregon won game 1. 3-point lead here in game 2. The Ducks look very good right now as they're on a roll. Take a look at what's going on around the rest of the Pac-10 this weekend. Last night, like we said, Oregon picked up a win over Arizona State to improve to 500 in the Pac-10 at 3-3. These Wildcats picked up a win, their first in the conference, over Oregon State in a sweep. Down in California, UCLA defeats California at home 30-26, 30-17, 32-30. The Golden Bears tried to fight back there in Game 3 and extend it to Game 4, but the number 3 team in the nation was just too much. Stanford, however, picked up the upset, and it's hard to say there's an upset when you're the number 6 team in the nation taking on the number 4 team in the nation, and you come from the best conference in the nation. But Stanford defeats USC in Southern California 30-21, 30-26, 30-28. So right now, if you look at the national top 10, Nebraska number 1, Penn State number 2. Then we get into the Pac-10 side of things. UCLA at 3, USC at 4, Washington at 5, Stanford at 6, California at 7. Every week, those 5 teams could switch places. Natisha Inessi out to serve now for Oregon, 17-14 the lead in Game 2. Good enough handles the serve. Now she's going to attack after the set from Buckus into the block. Popped up in the air by Norton. Good enough to lefty to attack again. Off the block again. Joust at the net. Waddington knocks it over. Good enough, sets it up. Bump set by Buckus. An attack from J.C. Norton. J.C. Norton, a standing attack from the middle. Did not get very good lift at all. It hammers it right down into the middle of the net. Oregon pulls out to a 4-point lead, their best of the game. And Essie to serve again. This one's going to sail long, however. And Dominique Lamb's going to come back into the game for J.C. Norton in the free substitution as Brittany Leonard goes back to serve. I know every time there's a service there, Jim Moore probably cringes a little bit, except when it's for the other team. Leonard's serve sails wide of the court, and Oregon holds on to their 4-point lead. Djordjevic and Juric check into the game. Djordjevic to serve. Madison and Bitter take a seat, well, so to speak. They go to stand with their teammates behind the Oregon bench. Djordjevic sets it over. Jackals with the dig on the serve. Now Bergengrud to attack from the left pin. Bergengrud goes down the line. Her attack is wide. Oregon picks up another point, 20-15, a 5-point lead now, and they've done most of it in this game, in my eyes, by Arizona attack. They've done well, but Arizona is beating themselves right now. Quick set there to Lamb. Lamb hits it off of the bottom of the top of the net, comes back. 4 hits there for Arizona, too many, and Oregon's out to 6-point lead now. Starting to pull away maybe here in Game 2. Djordjevic to serve again, into the back row to Jackals. Buckus sets it over to Bergengrud to attack from the left pin. Dig there by Djordjevic, kept alive by Waddington. Now Newcomb attacks, dug by Arizona. Bergengrud to attack from the left side. She tips it over. Pancake save by Djordjevic and tipped over by Swoboda. But Dominique Lamb comes back with the attack and picks up the point there. Great defensive plays there by Nevena Djordjevic. She had a big dig after a Bergengrud attack on the block, and then she had a big pancake dig after Bergengrud tried to tip it over. Arizona's going to go with a substitution. Amy Dyke comes in to serve for Randy Goodenough. Arizona ended the Oregon run there. 21-16 is the Oregon lead. Dyke hammers it over straight down the line from the right side. Tipped over by Juric. Bump set there. Bergengrud now going to give a free ball to Oregon. Swoboda tips it up to Djordjevic. Djordjevic to Newcomb, and Newcomb hammers it down in front of a diving Bergengrud. Sonia Newcomb, 5 kills here in Game 2. She's got 10 on the night, 22-16. The freshman Newcomb back to serve now. Into the middle, handled by Leonard. Buckus sets it over to the left pin. An attack from Bergengrud off of the block, dug by Newcomb. Little to attack now from the left side. Little thinks she got a tip, but no, out of bounds long is the attack from Little. Arizona picks up the point. Dostie checks back in for Katie Jackals. Dostie plays in the rotations when she's at the net. Jackals comes in to play in the back row. Bergengrud's jump set tips it over. Mishandled by Swoboda. Knocked around there like a pinball, but eventually it falls to the floor. Brooke Bergengrud picks up her second ace of the night. 22-18, 4-point lead for Oregon. Here in Game 2, Oregon leads 1-0. Berengard service handled this time by Swoboda. Little to attack. Hard attack there by Aaron Little. Hammers it down to the floor in front of Amy Dyke. Aaron Little's got 4 kills here in game 2. 7 overall. 7 overall. Katie Swoboda to serve now. Pops it over to the 10-foot line. Handled by Dyke. Now from the left side, Dosti to attack. Dosti's attack is just long. No tip. Arizona is jumping up on their bench. They thought they got one there. 24-18. 6-point advantage now for Oregon. Swoboda hammers it over. She'll be the feature interview here at the end of game 2. Block back on the attack by Lamb. Now Dosti to attack. She hits it around the block and in front of Sonia Newcomb there. Dosti, when she takes a little bit off of it and gets it down into the net, she's been hitting well. She's got 4 kills here in game 2. Lamb back to serve. Dosti almost reminds you of Mira Juric as a freshman last year, where she's always going full bore, and when she takes a little bit off of it, she can get it in. Speaking of Juric, she gets an attack. It's into the block, comes back, rolls along the top of the net, and Anesi cannot keep it alive, so a block for Arizona there. They led 5-1 in team blocks in game 1. The lead's back to 4 for Oregon, 24-20. Lamb hammers it over. Mishandle there. Georgievich tries to keep it alive. Handles it off of the net. Rubio's angry because he feels like it was a ball handling error by Georgievich trying to keep that one alive. Either way, Oregon timeout 24-21. Jim Moore's seen his team's 6-point lead dwindle down to 3. So I told you what happened last night around the Pac-10. Tonight, of course, we've got Arizona-Oregon right here, Friday Night Volleyball on the Ozone. Eric Olson with you here on GoDucks.com. Welcoming you all joining me tonight. Up in Corvallis, the Arizona State Sun Devils trying to get revenge on their trip to the state of Oregon when they take on the Beavers, who are still looking for their first win in the conference. Up in the state of Washington, it's rivalry weekend there. I believe they call it the Apple Cup when the football teams get together. It's just a rivalry game when these two volleyball teams get together. Washington State takes on the defending national champions and 5th-ranked Washington. This one's in Seattle. Down in Southern California, number 7 California is taking on number 4 USC, and number 6 Stanford is taking on number 3 UCLA. When you've got the number 3, number 4, number 6, and number 7 teams all playing each other over the weekend, it's really tough to pick which one's the Pac-10 game of the week, but we got a heck of a game here. In game 2, 24-21, Oregon's advantage over the Arizona Wildcats. Oregon picked up game 1, 30-24. They're trying to go in with a 2-game advantage into the locker room. Swoboda handles the serve from Lamb right at the back line. Now a miss set called on Oregon, and a bad mistake there. Arizona's on a 4-point run in between the Oregon timeout and out of the Oregon timeout. Lamb to serve again. Handled by Swoboda. Georgievich back set to Juric. Juric hammers it off the block and down for a kill. Mira Juric, that could be, I could be wrong about this, but that could be her first kill here in game 2. Juric and Georgievich come out. Bitter and Madison come in. Madison to serve. Setter pops it over. Amy Dyke handles it in the back row. Bucket sets it up to Berengard from the 10-foot line. Dug by Newcomb, kept alive by Nessie right in front of the Oregon fans. Free ball for Arizona. Berengard to attack again. This time tries to tip it over from the 10-foot line. Bitter to attack right into the block of Dosti and J.C. Norton right there. J.C. Norton stands at 6'4". Whitney Dosti stands at 6'3". And even for the 6'4" Bitter, that's a tough block to get around. The block just had the advantage there. Stephanie Buck gets to serve for Arizona. Oregon still with a 2-point advantage. Bitter to attack now. This time she gets it to go down the front side of the block for a kill. Kristen Bitter gets her first kill here in game 2, 26-23. Aaron Little back to serve. Arizona is out of timeouts. Oregon has one left. Back set by Buckus. Good enough, kips it over. Now kept alive by Leonard, but it goes off of her hands. Mishandled there and falls to the floor. Oregon picks up a point. Leads back out to 4, 27-23. Aaron Little to serve again. Little pops it over, handled by Goodenough. Buckus back set. Now an attack by Norton is into the block. Joust at the net. Newcomb keeps it over. Swoboda tracking back, gets that ball. Anesi to attack from the left pin. Off of the block and out of bounds. Natisha Anesi with the kill. 28-23, 5-point lead for Oregon. Oregon on a 2-point run right now. Into the back row, handled by Berngrud. Quick set there to Norton. Norton hammers it off of Swoboda, who is very frustrated with herself right now. She is struggling a little bit here early on in this match. 28-24. Katie Swoboda will be the feature interview tonight on Friday Night Volleyball on the Ozone, coming up here at the end of this game. Katie Jackals the serve into the back row, handled by Newcomb. Now Bitter to attack from the middle, off the block, and in front of a diving Jackals for a kill. Kristen Bitter's got 2 kills here late in game 2, but that last kill was the one to give Oregon game point. And Nessie back to serve. Stands well behind the baseline. Handled by Jackals. Now an attack. Berngrud pops it over. Free ball for Oregon. Madison, quick set to Waddington. Dug by Butkus. Back set by Norton over to Berngrud. Berngrud's attack is long, and Oregon picks up game 2. 30-24 again. And Oregon is going to go into the break in between games 2 and 3, up 2-0 on the Arizona Wildcats. 30-24 in game 1, 30-24 in game 2, and it really was a story of Arizona hurt themselves a lot, especially early there in game 1. Well, every Friday night on the Ozone, we have a feature interview to come during this 10-minute break at MacArthur Court. Tonight's feature interview is with sophomore libero Katie Swoboda from Portland, Oregon. Swoboda last season missed a few games due to concussions and came so close to setting the single-season digs record here at Oregon. This season, she will definitely get there, as she's already over 300 coming into tonight. I sat down with Katie earlier this week, and we chatted about playing here at Oregon and what it's like to play that libero position.
Well, Katie, I think the first question I have for a player like you is, what on earth would make you want to be a libero?
I love defense. I've grown up in the gym. My mom has been my coach for many years since I was young. And, you know, I'm a little bit shorter, so I wish I could hit front row, but I couldn't, and I knew if I wanted to play higher levels that I would have to focus on playing back row, and I love playing defense. So it's fun.
I guess it's just hard to comprehend. How do you get the mentality where, I mean, you just throw yourself around. That's all you do. And all Jim ever talks about, you play hurt, you know, you sore back, you hurt yourself last year, got a couple of concussions. How do you develop that mentality to more or less just throw caution to the wind and, you know, let your body hurt for, you know, volleyball?
Well, you know, the object is to win, so I'll do anything for my team to win. So I'll lay it out there for them and do the best I can to help them get a set and an attack. So I'll just do anything for my team. So
you have some just unhuman digs. I think Mira just told me once that she didn't think she thought you were an alien. What's the feeling after you get a huge dig and the team's able to convert it into a point?
I feel amazing. You know, the pass starts the play, so anything for my team, and it's just a great accomplishment when we're able to get a good dig and a set and a hit, or when my other teammates get a good dig, it feels good. So just feels good.
I know you've been playing for a long time, but like, is there a best dig you've ever made? I mean, can you remember one that just stands out as just better than anything you've ever done?
Oh man, there's so many, like so many games. I can't really think of one. Those big games where I like to dig the hard hits. Those are my favorite, and so can't really think of any right now. But you know.
Talked about the injury. Last season, you came very close to the single-season digs record. You know, how tough was it to, you know, be injured like that and have to watch the team play without you on the floor?
You know, I love being on the court, and it is tough, and I admire people who have gone through injuries and had to sit out because it's tough to
watch your team and you want to be out there to help them. But it was a learning experience, and I learned a lot just watching the team and learning about myself and what I needed to do to help my team out. So it happens, and I made it through. So
for you, and you got here, you were recruited, and you came here before any turnaround started. I mean, why Oregon? Considering the program was going through a coaching change, and considering all the struggles.
Well, I really wanted to stay close to home because my family has been a big part of my volleyball career. So I wanted to stay close to home, and I really do like Oregon as a campus and education program. And Jim, really, I liked his coaching mentality and the staff, the whole staff in general. I really truly felt like he was going to turn this program around, and I wanted to be a part of that, and I felt like I could bring to that. So I was excited to come to a program that was going to make a turnaround. So,
what's that feeling like to know that you're going to be part of those teams that turn it around, and most likely, if not this year, probably next year, you're going to go to the tournament? Just this is where this program's going. This is where Coach Moore's taking this program.
It's really exciting. We're focusing on this year, and we really think we can do well this year and make it to the tournament. And if things don't go right, at least we're starting the stepping stone for future programs here at Oregon. So it's exciting to know that this program is changing, and to be a part of that's awesome.
Yeah, and I don't want to, discount anything going on this year because this team's really on a roll. What's that been like for the team? I mean, how is the mentality different this year from last year, considering how well you guys are playing? And you're hanging with the best in the country, and you're beating teams that you might have to really play matches with last year.
It's really exciting. Our freshmen have done a great job stepping up, coming in, and a lot of them are playing this year and are big contributors to this program. And I think our mentality is just really focused on each game, and we have a lot of confidence and trust in each other, and just one play at a time, and whatever happens, happens, and we're working really hard in practice, and it's just going good so far.
For you, what are some personal goals? What are some things you still want to work on to improve yourself and get even better at your position?
I would like to work on my serve receive more. I have confidence in it, but I want to get those perfect passes so every play we can execute, and yeah, so that's probably what I want to work on the most.
I guess the last thing is, what's it like to play at Mac Court? I mean, it's really quite an atmosphere for Pac-10 volleyball. What's the feeling playing in front of those fans?
We have the best fans ever, and they have been so committed to us. From last year, the same people coming back and supporting us, and so thankful for them because they do bring a great atmosphere, and I love playing in front of them, and it's just great, and they've done a lot for us, and we love having them. So.
As the Oregon squad comes back out onto the floor right now, getting ready to start off Game 3 with a 2-0 lead over the Arizona Wildcats, picking up both Games 1 and Games 2. 30-24, 30-24. Let's take a look at the Pac-10 standings as they stand right now tonight. UCLA, the number 3 team in the nation, who has gotten 3 first-place votes in the coaches' top 25, is 7-0 in conference play, 20-0 overall. Their undefeated record has them atop the Pac-10 standings. USC, their Southern Californian foe, is only 1 game behind them, 6-1 in the conference, 17-1 overall. That one Trojan loss was, as you might have guessed, against UCLA. Stanford's next in line at 5-1 in the conference, 14-2 overall, 1.5 games back of UCLA. The Washington Huskies, defending national champions, 4-2 in conference, 14-3 overall, 2.5 back. California and Oregon, 3-3, 14-3 for California, 13-3 overall for Oregon. Both those teams 3.5 games back of UCLA. both of those teams will have to make quite a move in the second half of the season if they want to have a chance at the Pac-10 title. The Pac-10 title is very tough to win if you have more than 2 losses. 0 losses, obviously, you're going to win, or you're at least you're going to win. If you 1 loss, you'll also win. 2 losses, you got a chance to have a tie. 3 losses, there's really not a lot of times where the Pac-10 is won by a team with 3 losses. The University of Arizona, the team the Ducks are taking on here tonight, is 1-5. They're tied with Arizona State, who's also 1-5, and Washington State, who is 1-5. All those teams are 5.5 games back. Arizona 10-8 overall. Arizona State 9-8 overall. Washington State, the best overall record of those 3 teams, at 13-7. And then Oregon State, the Beavers are at the cellar, or in the cellar, so to speak, of the Pac-10 at 0-6. 3-12 overall, 6.5 games back of UCLA. Really, they're going to try to get back on top. We just got a score announced over the PA system by the public address announcer Peg Reese over at Pape Field, where the Oregon Ducks soccer team is opening up their conference home season after going down to the state of Arizona and sweeping and being tied atop the Pac-10 standings. They're now leading the Huskies over at Pape Field 2-0 right now. Getting ready to start game 3. Leaders for both teams: Sonia Newcomb 10 kills, Whitney Dostie 9 kills, as those 2 freshmen going back and forth. Oregon to serve first here in game 3. Nevena Djordjevic to serve. She's joined on the court by Swoboda, Little, Juric, Newcomb, and Waddington. Djordjevic pops it over into the back row, handled by Berdengrud. Attack there by Norton is dug into the back row. Now Newcomb to attack. Dug into the back row by Berdengrud. Left pin attack now for Dostie, and Dostie's attack goes long. Point for the Ducks there as they jump out to the lead again. They took the lead in game 2. Arizona got the first point in game 1. Djordjevic to serve. Into the back row. Berdengrud mishandles. It's going to be an ace for Nevena Djordjevic. Her second of the night. She picked up one in game 1 as well. The freshman from Serbia is having quite a night right now, playing very well. She's got 13 set assists. Another mishandled set, and it's going to be a free ball for Oregon, popped over by Dostie. Newcomb to attack, hits it around the block, right down the line, and kill for Sonia Newcomb. Newcomb picks up her 11th of the night. Get this, folks, no attack errors in game 2. On 9 attacks, she's improved her hitting percentage to .474 with 11 kills now. Djordjevic's serve is into the net. The service error after a 3-0 lead for Oregon gives Arizona the ball. And Stephanie Buckus, the senior setter, back to serve. The lefty Buckus hammers it into the back row, handled by Little. Djordjevic sets over to Newcomb, off of the block, kept alive by Waddington. Joust at the net, Waddington wins it. Arizona now to attack. Dostie to attack, right into the block of Mira Juric and Karen Waddington for an Oregon point. Dostie had a good look to swing at there, but a great block by Karen Waddington and Mira Juric. Last night, the Oregon Ducks had a heck of a night blocking. They outblocked Arizona State 23-10. Juric to attack from the right pin. Big swing there by Mira Juric. She hammers it home. She had a quiet game, too, only getting a 1 kill, improving to 6 on the night, but picks up a big one there. 5-1 the lead. Newcomb to serve. Into the back row, handled by Goodenough. Buckus back set, now tipped over, and Mira Juric is not able to keep alive the ball off of the block. Whitney Dostie with a smart tip there. Freshman Dostie now comes out for the junior Katie Jackals. Jackals to serve. Jackals moves herself over more towards the middle as she gets her signal from her coach, David Rubio. Jackals into the back row, handled by Swoboda. Jump set there by Djordjevic to Little. Little off of the block there. That one's going to be Randy Goodenough and J.C. Norton. It was Goodenough's right hand who hammered it straight back at Aaron Little for the Arizona point. 5-3 now. Arizona's cut the lead to 2. Jackals, low line drive serve handled by Newcomb. Little to attack again. This one over the block. Dig by Jackals. Bucket sets it up into the middle. Attack by Norton. Blocked by Newcomb. Now Aaron Little keeps it alive. It's a lift called against Oregon. And David Rubio's upset because Aaron Little got caught off guard there. Off of the block by Waddington. Came back to Little. And Little popped it up against the net and then popped it up again. Either way, Arizona point 5-4. Long pass there, but Djordjevic was able to keep it alive, and Aaron Little's attack is hammered down to the floor. Oregon picks up a 2-point lead. Katie Swoboda back to serve now. Swoboda lines up on the far left side of the court. Standing right-handed serve over into the back row, handled by Jackals. Buckus pops it up, now tipped over, kept alive, and now mishandled there by Oregon. J.C. Norton went with the tip there over the top of the block, and Aaron Little got a hand on it, and then it came back to Nevena Djordjevic, and Djordjevic could not handle it because it was redirected there by Little. Newcomb accepts the serve from Leonard, tipped over by Oregon. Now Lamb to attack, kept alive by Waddington, and then over to Little. Now a double attack there by Katie Swoboda. Arizona's back, and they've tied this game at 6. Leonard, the sophomore libero from San Jose to serve. Line drive, dug by Swoboda, but it's going to go down as an ace for Brittany Leonard there. Katie Swoboda tried to dive on that one, but she could not keep it alive. For Brittany Leonard, her 9th ace of the season. Swoboda handles this one. Back set to Juric. Kept way alive. Juric pops it over now. Leonard digs it up. Or Arizona to attack. Berngrew tips it over. The block is not able to get back on that one. Djordjevic came up but did not take a dive. Jim Moore up on his feet. Some miscommunication there by Oregon. 8-6. Arizona is on a 4-point run. George back set to Djordjevic. Reverse that, and Juric hammers it home for the kill. Ends the 4-point run. Kristen Bitter and Heather Madison come into the game for Mira Juric and Nevena Djordjevic. And it looks like Aaron Little got popped somewhere. We're going to have to take a look at her here. She is bleeding. Got a little blood now. She's going to have to get cleaned up. Jim Moore's talking to the down judge as Aaron gets cleaned up here. Aaron's got some blood down the front of her shirt. And Stacy Metro's going to run down. Aaron Little's going to have to get a new shirt here. She cannot play with blood on the shirt. As the down judge comes over to take a look at what's going on, as the medical staff attends to Aaron Little here. Actually, it looks like her chin is what is bloodied right now, and she is bleeding from the chin. David Rubio is up, very angry about how long this is taking. His girls are all hopping up and down, trying to keep themselves warm. They're on a little bit of a run here. 8-7 is their lead. As Aaron Little's chin bleeds here, and she gets attended to. Ellie Ruzmolski is attending to Aaron Little. She is the first-year trainer for Oregon. And because it's an injury, we will take as long as Aaron needs here to get this bleeding under control. Stacy Metro still down in the locker room. Now she's back up. I think she's found Aaron Little a new jersey. And it looks like Aaron's going to have a number change. Not sure what number this is yet. David Rubio still very frustrated with how long this is taking here. And it looks like now the Oregon team is going to surround Aaron Little as she changes here in a huddle. And Aaron Little is going to have a new number here tonight as she got her chin bloodied. 8-7 our score here in Game 3. The down judge is coming over, not sure what's going on here, talking to Jim Moore. Erin Little will now be wearing number 3, it appears. And she's getting attended one more time. It's just below her chin that's bleeding. Not sure where she got hit there. And now after all of that, Oregon is charged with a timeout. So a long delay. And after the delay, Oregon charged with the timeout. Erin Little now wearing number 3, the senior. And this will give a chance for Ellie to go out and make sure that she cleans the floor up from where Erin did bleed. The senior from Mount Douglas Secretary in Victoria, British Columbia. Jim Moore says when Erin's not thinking about what she's doing, she's the best passer on the team, and she's got the best block technique. Really, she is a completely different player from what we saw last year from Erin. Erin was a good player last year. She was a strong attack, especially from the back row, a solid defender for Oregon. But she has really taken it to a new level here, just in her demeanor out on the floor, her leadership on the floor. She has just been spectacular in those facets of her game. Now, out of the timeout, here's where we are. Game 3, MacArthur Court, the Oregon Ducks taking on the Arizona Wildcats. Oregon's trailing 8-7 here to the Wildcats in Game 3. Oregon picked up games 1 and 2 by the same score, 30-24. Heather Madison, who subbed in, is now back to serve for the Ducks. Madison and Bitter came in on the substitution. And now an attack from Dominic Lamb is down in front of Sonia Newcomb. Lamb picks up her kill. And Arizona gets the ball back in a 2-point lead. Randy good enough to serve. Bitter and Madison came into the game for Juric and Djordjevic, who sit over on the bench, the two Serbians talking to each other. Little attack now from the right pin is dug into the back row by Arizona. Free ball for Oregon. Madison all the way over to Anesi on the left side. Anesi is dug by Berengrud. Back set there to Good enough dug by Swoboda. Madison goes for the dump, popped up by Lamb, kept alive by Buckus. Bump set, dig, one-handed dig by Newcomb. Now it's going to be a free ball from Oregon, hit over by Swoboda. Buckus sets over to Berengrud. Berengrud tips it over, and Nessie keeps it alive. Madison sets it straight up for Little. Little's attack, and Arizona is into the net. Jackals with the dig, but Arizona on the block is into the net to give Oregon a point. 9-8 the score. Erin Little now wearing number 3 from her original number 10 to serve. Buckus, bump set, over to Good enough tips it over, dug by Bitter. Madison sets it up in the middle to Newcomb. Newcomb hits a low one right through the hands there of Dominic Lamb, and a kill for Sonia Newcomb. She is having quite a match tonight. She's up to 12 kills, 2 here in Game 3. 9-9 the score. Berengrud to attack, goes down across the court and in front of Erin Little. She could not get to that one. Hard hit there from the sophomore Brooke Berengrud. Jackals comes out. Whitney Dostie, the freshman attacker, comes back in. Dostie, the 6'3" from Tucson, led the Arizona team with 9 kills coming into this game. Newcomb's attack right down the line and finds the floor. Back and forth we go. 10-10 is now the score. Natisha Anesi back to serve for Oregon. Anesi, the righty, hammers it into the back row, handled by Goodenough. Buckus, quick set to Lamb. Lamb off of the block. Karen Waddington and Sonia Newcomb on that block there. Big block there for Oregon, as Arizona has controlled the block for most of the night. Anesi back to serve. Pops it over to the middle. Handled this time by Berengrud. Bucket sets it over to Dostie. Dostie with the tip. Off the block, dive by Madison. Kept alive, now tipped over by Bitter into the back row. Now Dostie to attack again. This one off the block, and Dostie picks up the kill. Whitney Dostie with her second kill, 11th, second kill in the game, 11th of the night. Dominic Lamb back to serve for Arizona. Lamb's serve will sail wide. Point for the Ducks there, as the Serbians Juric and Djordjevic check back into the game. Madison and Bitter come out. Nevena Djordjevic to serve from Lazarevic, Serbia. Handled by Berngrud. Buckus sets it up over to the middle. J.C. Norton off of the block and out of the reach of Erin Little. Norton picks up her second kill of the game. Fourth kill of the night. 12-12 to score. Buckus, the setter to serve, handled by Newcomb. Newcomb's going to attack now. Off of the block and down in front of a diving Berngrud for a kill. Sonia Newcomb, 4 kills here in game 3, 14 on the night. Newcomb now to serve. Arizona knocks it over, and Jim Moore calling for a double hit. Erin Little attack from the left pin, dug by Leonard. Now Goodenough attacks a jump there, and Randy Goodenough, who cannot attack from in front of the 10-foot line, tried to take an attack there, and the lefty just got under it, and that one sailed on her. She's now going to take a seat. Amy Dyke will come in. Joust at the net, and Karen Waddington wins it, picks up a kill, and Oregon's advantage is out to 3. David Rubio is frustrated now. He wants a timeout to talk about it with his team. 15-12 is the Oregon lead here. After the Jim Moore timeout, his team has really been clicking on all cylinders. 5-2 after the timeout. And David Rubio's got to get his team back in it here. They were playing well in this game here, but they're struggling to stay consistent tonight. And I think consistency is going to be the thing that Rubio looks back on and it really questions with this very, very young team, losing 3 quality seniors from last year. And they have not had the consistency that David Rubio is used to from his Arizona Wildcats team. Wildcats teams that in the last 7 seasons have gone to 5 Sweet 16s, and just like last year, 4 Elite 8s. Jim Moore's just got to keep his team going. They are on a roll right now. Take a look down at some of the scores as I can get them to you. In Bruin land, UCLA dropped the first game to Stanford 30-27. They picked up the second game 30-27, so that one's tied at 1 apiece. 12-8 is the Stanford lead in game 3. Newcomb to serve here out of the timeout. 15-12 the lead for Oregon. Now a huge block. Erin Little and Karen Waddington. Erin Little is fired up right now. Whitney Dostie took a huge swing there, but the block was timed just right. 16-12 the lead. Buckus sets over to Dyke. Dyke to attack. Dyke got Newcomb off balance there. Newcomb fell over trying to get that one. And I think Sonia Newcomb just got confused there. Amy Dyke picks up her first kill of the night. Now Katie Swoboda's going to take a second here. Try to throw off any rhythm Arizona might have developed, I guess. Katie Jackals is in for Dostie to serve for Arizona after the floor gets cleaned up. It is sufficiently dry now. For Amy Dyke, that is only her 66th kill of the season. Definitely a defensive specialist. Back set there to Juric. Juric off of the block, and a kill for Mira Juric, her 3rd of the game. 17-13 the leads. Katie Swoboda to serve. The righty Swoboda lines up on the far left side, pops it over, handled by Jackals. Now Burdengrud to attack, off of the block and in front of a diving Nevena Djordjevic for a kill for Brooke Burdengrud. Arizona cuts the lead to 17-14. Brittany Leonard to serve, dive by Katie Swoboda, keep that one alive, and now attack from the right side. Mira Juric misses with that one. Mira's actually had a much better attack percentage tonight than she is used to, the hard-swinging sophomore. Right now, that is only her 3rd error of the night. Newcomb keeps alive the attack, the serve from Jackals, and Nessie attacks, kept alive by Arizona. Burdengrud tries to come back right shallow across the net. She mishits it, and Oregon picks up a point, keeps their 3-point lead. Madison Bitter in for Juric and Djordjevic. Madison to serve. Bergengrud to attack from the left pin, dug by Swoboda off of the block. Now Madison quick sets it up to Little in the middle, kept alive by Leonard. Dyke to attack from the right pin is dug by Madison. Now Newcomb to attack from behind the 10-foot line. Dug in the back row by Jackals. Dug by Swoboda on the Arizona attack. Now Anesi to attack from the left pin. High off of the block. Good block from both teams here. Buckus now back sets to Dyke. Dyke hammers it off of Anesi's head and gets a kill. Amy Dyke's got 2 now here in this game. Her first 2 of the night. 18-16 as Amy Dyke goes back to serve now. The junior from Sandpoint's getting some playing time now, even attacking time, in front of Whitney Dostie, who's been struggling. Madison goes diving all the way over to the scorer's table. Free ball by Oregon, but the attack by Dominique Lamb is hammered straight back by the block from Oregon and Kristen Bitter. Now Carly Bergquist is going to check into the game to serve for Aaron Little. Bergquist, the freshman from San Juan Capistrano and San Clemente High School, is as good of a server as anybody on the team, really. Aaron Little's going to get re-bandaged here. Bergquist's serve is handled by Leonard. Now an attack from Bergengrud off of Madison, and that's going to be another kill for Bergengrud, her 3rd in this game. Arizona's substitution, Whitney Dostie back into the game for Katie Jackals. Now Carly Bergquist comes out. Aaron Little comes back in. Brooke Bergengrud to serve for Arizona. 19-17 is the Oregon advantage. Swoboda, a little bit of a mishandle on the serve. Newcomb gets the attack off of, kept alive by Dostie. Now a great save by Brittany Leonard, diving to hammer it over. Attack from the back row by Little. Lamb comes with the quick attack there, dug by Madison. Now Newcomb tries to tip it over. Bergengrud hits it up. Buckets goes all the way over to Dostie. Dostie with attack off of the block, kept alive by Newcomb. Quick set up to Bitter, and Bitter hammers it home. Kristen Bitter hammers that one straight down. David Rubio straight over to the down judge and says, what happened there? That one is a mistake, and the down judge is having none of it. Not sure what David Rubio was looking for there. Natisha Anesi to serve, 2017. Dyke handles it. Buckus to set over to Dostie. Dig by Anesi, but Anesi's dig goes over the net as a free ball and then out of bounds for a Arizona point. 2018 now. Dominique Lamb back to serve. Swoboda back in for Anesi into the back row. Newcomb sets it up. Now Madison back set to Bitter off of the block, and Heather Madison can't keep it alive. Frustrated there. Arizona's cut the lead to 1. Arizona substitution. Elena Rush, who we've seen once tonight. The 5'9 freshman from San Diego checks in for Dominique Lamb to serve. Rush, the righty, takes a small jump serve, handled by Newcomb. Quick set to Waddington. Waddington just pops it over, kept alive by Rush. Now Dostie with the tip attack. Newcomb to attack now for Oregon off of Dostie. Joust at the net, won by Arizona. Stephanie Buckus wins the joust attack into Sonia Newcomb. Newcomb arguing that at the joust, she got kneed by Stephanie Buckus, and now the down judge is talking. Jim Moore up asking what happened there. He waves off the down judge. 20-20 the score. Arizona's even this one back up. Madison sets to Newcomb. Newcomb's attack off of Dostie, kept alive. Now a free ball tipped over by Rush. Madison gives it to Newcomb again. Newcomb this time around the block, and Newcomb is fired up there, swinging her fist. That might be the most emotion we see from Sonia Newcomb after a kill. She was very frustrated about losing the joust. Arizona wants a second here. J.C. Norton comes over to wipe up the area of the floor where Brittany Leonard just went down to make a dive. 21-20. Oregon's got a 1-point lead here in Game 3. Oregon leading 2-0. Nevena Georgievich to serve for the Ducks. Pops it over, handled by Bergengrud. Back set now, and on the slide attack by Norton, dug in the back row by Swoboda. Now Newcomb to attack, and Newcomb's attack is off of Leonard, and Whitney Dostie gives chase, but she's not able to keep it alive, so Sonia Newcomb's got her 6th kill in this game. With that improves her to 16 kills on the night, equaling last night's 16 kill total. 22-20. Dosti hits it over. Now it's going to be a free ball from Oregon. Katie Swoboda called for a double hit there. David Rubio's frustrated because Oregon's complaining so much. Katie Swoboda says, I only hit it with my right hand. What happened was Dosti had the tip over. Djordjevic kept it alive, and then Swoboda called for the double hit. Newcomb to attack now from the left pin, and Sonia Newcomb is fired up right now. She's got 7 kills in this game, and we're seeing some emotion from the freshman from California. She's back to serve now, 23-21. Bucket sets it over to Dyke. Dyke's attack is off of the block and in front of a diving Katie Swoboda. Arizona's going to go with some substitutions. Katie Jackal's going to come into the game for Whitney Dosti. Randy Goodenough's going to come into the game for Amy Dyke. So Goodenough up in front to attack for Dyke. Dosti comes out so Jackals can play defense in the back row. 23-22, Oregon's got a 1-point lead. Katie Jackals, the junior, to serve. Line drive handled by Newcomb. Popped up in the air, bump set to Little. Little tips it over. Diving kept alive and over, free ball for Oregon. Jurdic sets it up to Little. Little gets a swing at it and hammers it home. 24-22, Erin Little gets a big swing there for her second kill of the game and extends the Oregon lead to 2. Rubio's going to sub again. Goodenough's going to come out. Amy Dyke back in to play in the middle in the back row. Katie Swoboda, the libero, to serve now. Line drive serve dug by Dyke. Quick set by Buckets, tipped over, kept alive by Juric. Now back set, now attack from the back row by Newcomb is dug by Leonard. Left side attack by Brooke Burengrud, and that one goes long. Oregon picks up a 3-point lead, 25-22. Oregon is on quite a roll right now. Arizona coaches up, trying to get their team fired up. Swoboda's serve is off of the net, kept alive. Now an attack from Burengrud is dug by Newcomb. Inessi has to go backwards but keeps it alive. Attack from Burengrud again is dug by Djordjevic. Newcomb from the back row. Attack is dug by Leonard. Leonard's had a couple of good digs here. Newcomb's had a couple of good digs here, and Newcomb's dig is over to Little. Now Little attack again on a free ball. Oregon thought they had the point one. Inessi attacks on a free ball. Burengrud to attack now. Oregon had to regain themselves. They have Newcomb with a dig. Djordjevic sets over to Inessi. Dug in the back row by Dyke. Now Burengrud to attack from the left pin. Dug by Swoboda. Kept alive by Djordjevic. It's going to be a free ball. Djordjevic is called for a double hit on the play. Jim Moore is frustrated. Nevena Djordjevic cannot believe she got called for a double hit there. Sonia Newcomb is over talking to the up judge. She is the floor captain, frustrated with the calls that are going on right now. Arizona has pulled the lead back to within 2 there, off of the kill by Brooke Burengrud. Amy Dyke comes out as Randy Goodenough comes back in. Brittany Leonard to serve. David Rubio is making sure that his rotation is correct with all of the substitutions. We're ready to go now. Leonard, the libero, to serve. 25-23, Oregon's lead. Off of the net, Djordjevic back set to Juric. Juric's attack is off of the block, comes right back to her. Big block there for Brooke Burengrud and Dominique Lamb over on the right pin attack from Juric. Leonard to serve again, 25-24. Wildcats trail by 1. Newcomb pops it up. Now Swoboda to Inessi. Inessi's attack high and cut in the back row by Jackals. Burengrud to attack from the right side. Tries to tip it over. Inessi's right there. Now Newcomb and Inessi attack at the same time. Newcomb got Inessi, who grabs her head. The attack from Burengrud is just wide and long. The 2 freshman recruits make sure each other are okay. They ran into each other. Miscommunication there. But it worked out for Oregon because they got the point on the attack here from Burengrud. Madison comes in with Bitter for Juric and Djordjevic. Madison to serve, 26-24. Kept alive there, and now a quick attack by Lamb. Off of the block from Little. Inessi could not keep it alive, and Dominique Lamb picks up her second kill of the game. Arizona substituting again. Amy Dyke coming in for Randy Goodenough. Jim Moore up on his feet saying that Arizona is not substituting quick enough. Dyke's serve is handled by Newcomb. Now Little to attack. Big dig there in the back row by Jackals. Bump set. Jackals going to give a free ball to Oregon. Little to Madison. Madison quick set to Bitter, who hammers it down. Kristen Bitter on the quick set there. Oregon 27, Arizona 25. Aaron Little to serve. Buckus sets it over to Berngrud from the left pin, off of the block. Or Arizona's going to have another attack. Berngrud again. This one finds the floor past a diving Katie Swoboda. Brooke Berngrud picks up her fifth kill of game 3. Whitney Dostie comes back into the game for Katie Jackals to play up at the net. Brooke Berngrud, the sophomore from Escondido, to serve. 27-26, the Oregon lead. Swoboda, now Bitter with the quick set, and off of the one-on-one block with Dominique Lamb. Bitter gets her 3rd kill of game 3. Oregon 28, Arizona 26. Natisha Nessie back to serve. 2-point lead, 2 points away. And Nessie's serve right into the middle, handled by Dyke. Buckus all the way over to Dostie. Dostie off of the block. Kristen Bitter got that block there. Bitter and Bitter and Waddington went up with it. Kristen Bitter got both hands on the attack from Whitney Dostie. 29-26. The Oregon crowd getting into it here. Buckus sets over to Dostie. Dostie's attack is long! Oregon wins game 3. Oregon with the sweep over the University of Arizona. 30-24, 30-24, 30-26. The Oregon Ducks showed what they were made of this weekend, folks, picking up 2 wins at home. They improved to 4-3 in the conference, and their 14 wins ties the most wins since 1991. The Oregon Ducks, who in the top 25 coaches poll did get some votes. If you add them up, they're tied for 35th right now. With 2 wins this weekend over the Arizona schools, there is a good chance that Oregon might be back into the top 25 for the first time since 1991. This is the most Pac-10 wins since 1991, and Oregon comes away with a sweet victory over an Arizona team that was overmatched all night long. Oregon played better volleyball tonight, and they come away with the win. Quite a win for Oregon, and for Arizona and David Rubio, it's going to be back to the drawing board for their team. For Oregon, they are above 500 in the Pac-10 at 4-3. They are looking at going onto the road again next week, and they are on a roll right now. This Oregon Duck team, as young as they are just on a roll right now. They have not, in my mind, played a bad Pac-10 match since opening the season against UCLA, who is the number 3 team in the nation. They are on a roll. Next weekend, Oregon is going to go to the Bay Area. They're going to take on University of California Thursday night, then Friday night Stanford in Palo Alto. The following week is the second edition of the Civil War as Oregon takes on Oregon State up in Corvallis. It'll be November before Oregon is back here in MacArthur Court. They will take on the Washington schools. Friday Night Volleyball on the Ozone will be back on Friday, November 3rd at 8 p.m. It's an 8 p.m. special start here, Friday Night Volleyball on the Ozone. The Ducks will take on the defending national champion Washington Huskies. For my on-site engineers and everybody at GoDucks.com, I am Eric Olson saying thank you for joining me here tonight, and an Oregon win over the Arizona Wildcats and a sweep, 3-0. Good night, and we'll talk to you again soon.